Hello everyone. Well, for today's video I have another box which I'm going to open and show you what's inside. This arrived in the mail a few days ago, so let's find out what it is. I think the unboxing itself is going to be fairly simple. Some brown paper. Some more brown paper. Don't often get this as a packing material. Usually I get bubble wrap or something like that. Makes a nice sound. Put that over there. And finally, we get to the contents of the box. And that is a pair of earbuds. These were sent to me by the company that makes them. These are called Deco 11 Deco. The company is MEZE. And they wanted me to do an unboxing and show you their product. I know if you've seen a few other ASMR channels, you've probably seen them unboxing these as well. So I always enjoy doing things like this. It exposes you guys and me to new products, and it gives me some exciting things to do videos with. So let me see if I can open this rather gently. There we go. So inside we have, looks like a case. Yep. So, pretty simple. You'll see here is the web address of the company. MEZEheadphones.com. And it's got a lot of detail stuff here on the back, which if you were technically minded, you probably would understand what all these mean, but I am not an audiophile. I love music, but I certainly do not have a background in what all of this means, so I will not even try to explain it because I couldn't. So here's the case it comes in. The logo on the front. Nice little zipper. The carrying case is always nice. Keeps your headphones or earbuds protected a little bit. So inside we have 2 compartments. This one has a little clip, so I guess you can clip this case to your belt or to your bag or something. So just a simple clip. And what else do we have here? We have little cushions that go onto the end of the headphones. I'll leave those in the bag, but it looks like there's 2 different sizes. If you have really big ears or really small ears, you'll be accommodated, so that's good. And then we have here the actual headphones themselves. Let's pull these out. Okay. So it's a nice white cord wrapped around with this little twist tie here. There we go. Okay. So one of the nice features of these earbuds are that they have a ring of wood around each one of them, so when they are sitting in your ears, they look rather nice. You have the logo here on the end as well. So, also have a simple little device here for recording. So you could use these for recording audio, probably more specifically for answering a phone, those who are connected to your iPhone or something like that. You have a nice secure little area here where the 2 wires plug in, and then it moves down to the single wire, coming all the way down to the plug that goes into your device. So that is the product itself. Looks like we have little hole drilled in here right where the wire comes in, probably to help maybe with the sound quality. So what I figured that I would do is to actually test these out and see how well they sound. So I have here my iPod, and I also have some standard earbuds that come with the iPod. So I thought I would compare these two and see what they sound like. Again, I am not a professional as far as it comes to sound quality and understanding all of the details of what makes good headphones or not. But I figured that might actually be a good thing, since I consider myself just a standard consumer of music. So I will test both of these out on different pieces of music and see what I think. So here we have the regular earphones, and on this side we have the MEZE earphones. So let's pull something up, shall we? Let's see. Let's go to music. Let's start with genres. I think that'll be the easiest way. And let's start with classical music. And you can see I have quite a bit here. We have some Nadia Salerno-Sonberg, her Mendelssohn Violin Concerto. I think that's a pretty awesome piece of music, and she's a pretty awesome performer. So we're going to start out with the Apple Earbuds. Oops, I just turned it off. There we go. Put these in my ears. And let's make sure the volume isn't going to kill my ears. And we'll just start off here with the first piece of music. I doubt you'll be able to hear this, but okay, I'll set the volume to about right there. Okay. Pretty standard. Okay, now. That gives me a bass line. Now we'll plug in the MEZE headphones. And I'll make sure I have the correct. This one's in the right ear, and this one's in the left ear. Untangle them a bit here. They fit rather tightly. They don't sit in the ears like the Apple headphones. They go into the ear canal, kind of like a more traditional earbud. Now let's see what they sound like. Well, the fit is rather tight. I had to push these in with some force to get it to make contact all the way in. So these are not going to come out of your iPod or other device easily. But once I made contact, take these out of my ears. I couldn't tell if I was speaking too loud or not. The sound quality is very nice. I will try that out with a few other pieces of music before I say it's better than the Apple Earbuds. I will say now that it's easily comparable to them. I like to listen to them back and forth a little bit to see which one would come out on top, but they sound very nice once you made contact and got it into the iPod. So let's pick another genre of music and see what that sounds like. Okay, let's try a different style of music. Let's see what we have here. Here's some pop music. We have Kate Earl. She's really awesome. I will just start here with the first soundtrack here. So let me plug in the MEZE headphones. Put them in my ears. Hope I'm not speaking too loudly. Okay, definitely have to turn it down. Okay. So again, very nice sound. Now let's compare that to the Apple Earbuds. Okay. Well, one of the big differences I can tell already is at the same volume level, these seem to be much louder. And that's not a bad thing, because it's not a brash loudness, it's just generally louder. And I think because they sit inside of your ears and actually focus the sound directly into your ear canal, that may be a reason why they sound louder. The Apple earphones seem to be much more generally broadcasting music in your ear direction. It's kind of just playing out right outside your ear canal. These are playing directly into it. And I think these MEZE headphones sound sharper. I'm sure it is in part because of how they sit in your ear. But I can definitely tell the difference between, for lack of a better term, because I'm not an audio expert, they sound crisper. The high sounds of like the hi-hat and the soprano and the violin in the other section had a more crisp, clear sound to them. Whereas the Apple headphones were not bad, they're just a little more soft. Again, the differences are subtle, and if you were an audiophile and really tuned into that stuff, it would probably drive you crazy, the differences. But for me, I can definitely tell there is a difference. I don't know that if I was exercising and had these in my ears and was in traffic, the wind blowing and stuff like that, you would not notice a difference between the two. But I think sitting in a room like this, playing music and analyzing it and thinking about it, I think these are definitely of a higher quality sound-wise than the Apple headphones. So, looking at the headphones themselves, they seem to be fairly well built. This really looks nice. The wood around the earbud itself. And these little buds just pop right off. As you can see, it has a little grill here in front of the speaker. That's a nice touch. And that pops right on like that. I did notice when I pushed this into my ear, the sound of this thing adjusting was kind of loud, but it was only while I was pushing it in my ear. Once it settled down, it was not a problem. So overall, seems to be fairly nice. Time would tell how durable they are. I know I've had these Apple earbuds for quite a while, at least a year, if not a year and a half. And I keep them in their little container, which helps keep them protected. But they've held up really well. So I think you would have to actually use these under the same circumstances for the same amount of time to determine how well these actually held up. But they seem to be perfectly well put together. The cord is kind of kinky coming out of the box. Lots of stiffness to it, but I think that would probably work its way out as well once you use them and handle them a bit. I think that would be fine. So I think now that we've determined that these sound really nice, let's see if I can, find something else to play. I'm not sure why we have the Amadeus under pop music, but sure, why not? We have Pamplemousse. We have the Pentatonics album. That sounds good. Let's see. This is an a cappella group. It sounds really, really good. So, once again, we'll just start with the top track. I'm waiting for some heavy bass to come up so I can evaluate that. Okay. Definitely tell a difference between these two when it comes to bass. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of bass, so I have the bass on this turned down fairly low. I think sometimes the bass can drown out a lot of the other parts of music. So with these though, even at that setting, I could tell there was a responsive bass that was kind of pounding, thudding, but not in a bad way. In a very, again, more distinct way, instead of just kind of a general drumming beat. There were actual distinct patterns in the bass drumming synthesizers, whatever they were, or in this case, vocals. So that was nice. Kind of a surprise, I think. Sometimes you just hear bass and you just kind of think just general bass without a lot of texture to it. This bass seemed to have some character to it, and it was easier to define the beginning of the bass note and the end of it. That was pretty awesome. So I'm going to try these out more, and I will definitely be using them to listen to music, especially if I'm just sitting quietly and can really concentrate on the quality of the sound. I think if I was just going to go running and exercising, I would probably use the Apple headphones, just because with all that extraneous noise, when you're running down the street or something like that, the subtle differences would be lost. But these are well worth the time to use and just sit down and listen to music. They also make a range of over-the-ear headphones, not just earbuds. And I imagine that they're probably equally as good in quality. And if I get the opportunity, I will share those with you as well. But that's for another video potentially. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing and review of kind of a technical subject as far as sound quality goes. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. I make all different types of ASMR videos, from unboxings to Minecraft to food videos to just some gentle rambling. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.